Hey guys, Dropnaught here with a new video. Today I'm going to be playing Orcish Inn, which Orcish Inn is a farming, survival and tavern simulation game in which you raise crops, brew beer and build a tavern for your Orcish guests. It's not actually released yet, there isn't a release date for it, but at the minute you can play this demo and there's no time limit on the demo. It's really good, it gives you a really in-depth look at the game. I don't actually think I'll be getting to the tavern because I have had a quick go of it and there's a lot to it, but it has a really good way of teaching you the things you need to do to get your tavern, and I'll be showing you this. So how you start off is you start off in this hot air balloon and you get to look at the randomly generated world that they make for you, so you can see what resources they've got, if you've got enough land or anything like that, what you're sort of looking for. So what I always look for is flat land, because what you eventually get is you have to build your house, because this is a survival game, so you still have to sleep and eat. So I always look for, the few times I've played this, is flat land, so then eventually I could build my house, then my tavern, and then you have to make your crops to brew beer and then make that. So the more flat land you have, obviously the better you're off from the beginning. And then I like to see water as well, because obviously you fish for food, which also regains your stamina. This has got quite a good lot of water, there's a lot of flat land, so I think I'm going to stick with this game. If not, you click here and it will just regenerate you a new one. So I'm going to say yes, and we'll just jump into this world. So put me on an island. Orcish Inn is a pre-alpha state, so please bear in mind that features, mechanics, content, balancing and polish are missing and bugs and crashes may appear. The game doesn't have a proper flow and progression yet. I'm still searching for the game in it. And with your feedback we can make an absolutely weird, adorable and super slick Orc Tavern Simulator game together. So it's just a message from the creator, which is quite nice, and obviously all your feedback he takes in consideration. So this is the main screen, and down the right screen is all your tools. So you've got your hand, your shovel, axe, etc., and we'll go through all that. So this is your hunger here, and it goes down when you're doing all your tasks, and it decreases more and more when you're working. And on the other side there's your stamina, so your stamina also goes down when you're working as for that, but then there's ways to bring it back up. So your stamina gets drained over time, especially during night, and by working, and refilled by sleeping and fun activities like fishing. So we'll go into that a bit more as well. And then also you've got your body temperature. This feature isn't implemented yet. The idea is that it would change depending on various things like windbreak of the area you're standing on. So we don't really have to look at that, but that might eventually come into the game. And then the other side is your inebriation, and that isn't in there yet, but then obviously if you drink beer, which I think is quite a nice. And then you've got your day, what year it is, etc., which is more in depth later. So this up here, and this book will teach you all you need to know to pursue a successful career as an Orcish brewmaster. And this is what I like about this game, is that they're all set out, which we've all got different tasks, and it shows you at a nice pace as you're working along, and it gives you something to work towards. So we start with the first one, basics. Welcome. I'm not going to read all of these because some of these are quite obvious, and I'll just explain them as I go along. But if we start with this one, so dear friend, this book is dedicated to you. May it accompany you on your journey to become an appreciated innkeeper. It's called the Book of Challenges. A book full of tasks arranged in the categories shown on the left. Challenges introduce helpful knowledge. Use the scroll bar at the right or the mouse wheel to browse through the description and the objectives. Some challenges reward so-called knowledge, which can be invested into character improvements, which I'll get onto as well. By the way, you can mark challenges as watched by clicking on the small eye symbol at the right above the scroll bar. So this one here, and then etc, etc. So it's ticked because we've done it, well, half done it. And then you get to claim your reward, which is knowledge points. So then this is the next bit, character improvements, which most survival games have in them. So knowledge is mainly acquired by solving challenges in the challenge book, but it's also gained by books you will find on your adventures, or by reading furniture blueprints and crafting recipes. If you click the challenge book, you may have noticed that a big blue button appeared. Clicking on it will open the page for so-called character improvements. So if we do this one, so then this is individual improvements you get to help you out. So it's got stuff like consuming food does more things, sleeping, carrying things better, working at night is a few of them. This one, diplomat, increases the chance that paying around makes your customers stop brawling by an additional 10% in total. So that's later on when we get our inn. And then you've got swimmer, torpedo, steady rock. So steady rock, when you fall into the water, there's a current depending on what colour the water is. So you've got shallows and deep, and then you can get carried away, where that would stop by like certain percentages. So if we pick one, I always like to start off with this one here, which is borrow. Increase your inventory limit by 10% in total, which is always handy, because once you're over accumulated, you slow down, which then affects your stamina and your health. So we've done that one now as well, which means we claim rewards, and each time we spend one they get a bit more expensive, well, get a bit more knowledge points than needed. So next one, the hammer / axe. Wandering around and finding a nice spot is crucial in creating a thriving tavern. Your hammer axe tool, available at the right or by pressing 3. You can also see that the sides of them are the button keys as well, so if you don't remember it, they're right there, which is quite handy. Allows you to damage and destroy junk blocking your path, picking up objects or gathering resources from trees and stones. You have to close the book of challenges first, of course. Objectives have different amounts of health, so bigger and heavier things can take a couple of hits. So for that one we have to perform a heavy hit and destroy an object. So if we come out of the book and we select the tool, right, so you see I'm caught in the current now. So if we find something easy to knock down, so because we fell in the water, the tool gets taken off you. There we go. So once you click on it, and it gives you a star rating for that object as well, so that was just flowers. And then to heavy hit, so we got to this tree, you hold it down, and then a symbol pops up at the top, and then when you're ready you just let go, and it does a heavy hit and it gives you all these different things. But that uses a lot of stamina when doing such things. We claim our reward. So inventory. So a lot of these things are quite obviously the same as other games, but we'll just go through them just for the sake of the video. So your inventory, so this is just a quick one. So eat a piece of bread. So your inventory is down here, or E. You open it up and this is your inventory here. So to use objects in your inventory, or like consuming them, you right click and you see my hunger filled back up, and then you just click it again and it will close. So we've done that one, so we click this and it's given us 20 times rope. So now we move on to climbing. So when you're going around you see like walls like this and like ledges and things. You can't jump, so you need to be able to climb up and down them. So you have to create rope. So you go into the shovel, which is your build tool, and then you've got all your different selection tabs, which are different things. So nature, so you got your flowers, and then you got outdoor floors. So this is where you go for your land and your dirt, and if you want to build a bridge, and then we'll move on to the rest of them. But for this one, you want is utility, and then down here is your climbing ropes. You double click on it, and then you just place it. So all you have to do then is you can go up and down, so which means you can go up and down the ledges. Right, so I just had a quick look round to where I actually want it to be, so I know where I'm going. So we'll move on to the next one. So climb we've done. So we'll claim our reward. Preparing for night. To sleep through the night, you can build a tent made out of leaves. This needs a couple of resources you have to collect from nature. So we collect the logs from the heavy hit we did on the tree, so now we just got to collect leaves. So you can find little patches of leaves. Get our tool. So like bushes give you leaves. Right guys, so I just collected all the leaves that needs to be collected. So now we have enough. So you double click, come out of that, and then we'll just put our tent there. So this is our tent now, and we'll see what it says next. So preparing for the night. We've done. Sleeping in stamina. So we've put the tent down. Tents and beds allow to get some sleep when it's dusk or night, and to fill the stamina. Beds with proper beddings on them restore stamina a lot faster, but beds only work indoors, and setting up a little house is actually quite a bit of work in comparison to putting together a tent made out of leaves. So it's good to start off with, but it's not something we want to have all the time. So the hawker, so actually we've got enough for some more knowledge, so we'll spend some of this. So I'm going to do this one. Effectively decrease your hunger loss during work by 10% in total, which is quite good because the bread's not going to last forever. Right guys, so the hawker is what you put down for the shop. So we already have a hawker's post. When you first start, there's one there. If you just use your axe tool, you can pick it back up. So what we'll do is we'll just put it down. So we'll just stick it up the back here. So if we just, I'll show you, demonstrate the sleeping. So you go inside the tent and you hold down Z, and you see the food goes down and your stamina goes back up. And then it's daytime, and then if you press R, you can then eat some bread, and that'll put that back up. So you can't actually die in this game, even though you know it flashes red when your stamina and that goes down. You just gain infections, which then affect you during your day-to-day work. So even though you can't die, it's best to keep them both high. So I'll get on to the other way of regaining your stamina with the fishing once we come to it in the game. So I'm just waiting for the hot air balloon to come over. So as you can see, here he comes, floating over there, not a care in the world. So what you do then is, once you're near him, you just open your inventory, and then on the left here is what he has. You can see that he's got different things: brass knuckles, sugar beet soap, he's got seeds for when you want to do planting, dynamite, nails, and then you can sell him stuff as well. But what we'll do is trade in. So wait till we buy all the seeds. So if we buy all the seeds that he has, so open inventory again. So we'll just buy a load of oat seeds, because then eventually we can make bread. So here you've got how many things you want to buy, how many units. So he's got, so we'll just do 50. So you hold shift and then you left click and he'll buy all. There you go, and that's that one done too. So we claim our reward for that one. Finally, the basic instructions are over here, but many challenges are yet to be solved. Don't forget to progress at your own pace and take the obstacles one by one. Give us some good knowledge. So then other things open. So we've got survival, fishing, producing, farming, trading, building, brewing, serving, animal husbandry, and then exploring. So we should have enough for some more knowledge. So we'll do this one next, which decreases your stamina loss during work by 10% in total. It's always handy. So survival, so stamina. Stamina can't be refilled with sleep during the day. To avoid a critical stamina and therefore negative status effects, you can go fishing instead. And fishing is quite easy in this game, so we'll show you that too. Right, so I skipped ahead because it was just basically telling you the same thing that I've been telling you. So now we've opened a few more of these categories, and I'll show you the fishing one, because fishing is something you'll do quite a lot, just purely because it doesn't cost anything and it gets a lot of your stamina up really quickly. So what you do is, number 8 is your fishing rod. If you go to some water, which I found down here, so if you take the fishing rod out again, so you hold down the left button and that will throw out, the longer you hold it down the further it will go, and then you use the normal direction keys to move the fishing rod around, and all you do is you wait for it to pop down like that, and you click in, so the fishing rod. So I've explained that to you, so we'll take the knowledge points, and this is explaining the different types of water. There are several water types, including oceans, rivers, lakes, swamps and hot springs. The different water types occur in different biomes, like the hot springs in rocky areas or lakes somewhere in the forest. They are home to very different types of fish and also use different types of water. So that's the same in most games. So if we have to catch a fish from the ocean, so this one here is obviously the water that's in the forest, which is in the middle, and right at the end, which will be a dark blue colour, right, will be the ocean. So here is the ocean, and the same as with the lake, the different colours symbolise different depths. But remember that the ocean has the current. So as I'll demonstrate, when you throw your fishing rod out, the current takes it. You can still catch fish the same, you just got to be quicker when you see that the ender's bobbing down. There you go. So that's water type done. And then it's just explaining the different depths of water. So now it wants us to catch a fish in shallow water. So if we go back to where we were, this middle patch here is shallow water. So we'll just quickly catch a fish here. And then that one's done. So that's the basic knowledge around fishing. We've got quite a lot of knowledge points to spend, so we'll spend a couple of those. So increase your maximum hunger by 25% in total, while you have to eat more until we use that one. And then we should have enough for another one. Decreases your hunger loss during sleep, we'll use that one too. Right, so let's move on to producing. Mining ores. Alright. Iron ores are gathered from stone boulders or stone patches, but also from ores found on cliffs. When you are gathering resources in the wilderness, keep in mind that items have a weight which adds up quickly. If you're overloaded, you can get incredibly slow. Most items have a weight of 1, some even have a weight as low as 0.1. Right, so it wants us to get 1 iron ore and then build a yard for the wood, stone and ore, which is just basically somewhere where you can leave those products so they're not in your inventory and you won't have to carry as much. So if you select your hammer axe and hit the stone, so that is ore, and there's limestone as well, which we'll need later on. So that's one. So if we go back into our inventory and under utility again, we should find the 3 things that we need. So it looks like we need wood as well, we don't have enough of, so if we quickly get some of that. Right, so what I've done is I've just put the 3 things that they wanted next to each other, so you've got the wood, the stone and the ore. So let's see what it wants us to do next. the furnace. The furnace is available in the production category in the building menu. It works outdoors and its function is to cook and melt all sorts of items like iron ores to iron ingots. When a furnace is placed, you can click on it. It will open the inventory as well as the furnace's storage. So let's have a look at that. So if you want to get all of this out of the way, you have number 5, or you click the reaping hook, and it's just like a sickle. It just gets rid of all the grass, which is a giant pain in the bum. And it just gives you seeds, which you can then replant if you feel it's necessary. Right, so you go into the building menu, and then you go into production, and then down here is the furnace. So if we just put this in the middle, and then if you click on the hand, and then the furnace, this is the inside of the furnace. So this is also where you can cook fish, which will fill your hunger up more, but we want to do iron ingot first. So what we need is obviously fuel and then the iron ore. So same as before, you hold shift, left click, and it will put the item inside to the furnace. And now we need wood. Have we got any wood? No, we haven't got any. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go get some. Right, so we'll just put one in there for a minute, and once you put it in, you can see that it starts making the iron ingot. So have a look in the book. So it wants us to produce one. So it's night time now, so I'll quickly go to sleep just to regain some stamina. Okay, and eat again to refill my food. And as you can see, the furnace is finished. So open the menu, hold shift and the left click, we're taking it all out. So we claim our reward. The sawmill. So the sawmill is the same thing, but obviously it's for wood. So if we open the build menu, you can see the sawmill's here, and we need some resources. So I'll quickly grab the resources and then we'll jump right back. Right, so collecting the resources, I'm actually overloaded. So what I'll do is I'll come over here and I'll transfer some of my resources into these. So there's a wood one. So I need some of this, so I'll hold on to some of it, and then we're back to normal. So let's get back to building the sawmill. So we'll build it here. So the best thing about the sawmill is to build it on its own with nothing around it, and you'll find out why later on. So if we click onto this, so all it wants is wood, and then you can build lumber planks or decorative planks, and they obviously do different things. So at the minute we'll just build normal lumber planks, and we'll transfer some of this over, and there you go, it starts to cut the wood down. Right, so that's done. Now you see the book, we've accomplished what it wants us to. We'll click on it and we'll claim our reward. So storage, oh, this one's flashing too. Finding shelter. A tent is, so now it wants us to build a house. So we'll get onto that after we've done all of our producing. So build a wood guard next to the sawmill, build a chest next to the furnace. So I'll read this one out because it explains obviously why I said to you leave it, so there's nothing behind it or anything, because you need it for later on. So production storages can get overfilled quite fast. Luckily, production machines interact with nearby storages. If you select a production machine like a furnace or sawmill, you'll see a bunch of white markers. The white circles indicate the places where the production can interact with storages, which is often in direct neighbourhood. Place a chest or any other storage like wood yards or ore yards near the furnace, and it will automatically grab materials out of it and put products back. So as it was saying, so if we click on the sawmill, you can see the white lines. So if you put storage or any of the yards next to these in these dots, the sawmill will automatically take resources. So if you put logs in there, it will automatically take them, turn them into whatever you want, and then store it for you as well. The same goes for the furnace. Close our inventory. You see the white dots. So if we do that now, so what I'll do is I'll go in here and go into utility, and right guys, so we're ready to make our chest. So double click, and then we'll put one right next to it, and then what we'll do is we'll take one of the wood yards, we'll put that on the other side. What we'll do is we'll put all the wood in the wood yard and leave it in there, and that will fill up over time. So as well as any other survival game, there's also item decay. Every morning some types of items can decay with a specific chance, which will result in some of the items getting lowered by one quality. Especially food is prone to decay. The item's decay chance is mentioned in the item's description. An additional factor is the storage decay chance. Chests are very bad in respect to decay, with your inventory being a bit better at 50%. There are special storages like cupboards and silos. So what it wants us to do next is build a cupboard. So what I will do, let's find out how much it needs for a cupboard. So we need 30 decorative planks, and let's have a look at our sawmill and see how it's getting on. Sorry, at our storage, so it's got 10 in there, and you can see that it's already filled up. So if we take these 10 out, it's got one in there. So decorative planks, so we select that. So it's going to be taking the wood from this side we've got here. Oh, there's more 15 there. And then it's going to be cutting it in the middle and then putting it in the storage, which isn't a lot. So as we've got the resources here, we'll make another one of these. We'll put it here, and that way it will put some in that one as well. Right guys, so we've now got enough for our cupboard, and we'll just stick it down next to our tent. And then there we go, so now we can put stuff in there. So let's see what it wants us to do next. So we've done item decay, baking bread. So baking bread. So I'm not going to get into that now because that's quite in depth, obviously, with making bread and stuff like that. So we'll leave that baking bread and making a house for the next episode. And I hope you enjoy what I've gone through so far. Hopefully I explained everything well enough, and you can keep up with me. If you like the video, please like. If you want to try the game for yourself, there's a demo of it on Steam. It's well worth a go. You know, playing it for yourself is a different experience. If you enjoy what you see, subscribe, or go onto my Twitter and follow me on there so you can keep up when you know I'm next doing the episode. And have a great day guys, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later.